Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I apologize for getting my voice on here a little late. I had a very unfulfilling and short nap between the last game and this one. Ugh. Last bit of my cold coffee tastes terrible. And I'm trying to wake myself up. Hammond says, "Go Rangers, go Astros, oops, go Yankees." Has it really come to this? Man, I'd have to be the only way that I would actually go for the Yankees at all, and I wouldn't really be going for the Yankees, and that would be is if they were playing the Dodgers. But in such a situation, what I would hope for is that they just keep playing and playing and playing, and they can never break the tie, and finally they just call the game. That would be my dream. Because I'm not a fan of either team, but I will say this, whenever they met last time in the big old dance, I did pull for the Yankees because my distaste for the Dodgers surpasses that of the Yankees. So we'll say that. But I have respect for Aaron Judge. I don't like that the Astros boo Judge when he comes to the plate. It doesn't make any sense to me at all why they boo Aaron Judge. It's not like Judge has ever done a lot of damage to Houston. It's interesting because if you look at all the big players in the MLB, like Ohtani and Judge, etc., they don't do very well against Houston. Their numbers and their averages and their success against Houston are far below what they do to everybody else. So there's no reason for the Astros fans to be booing somebody who's obviously going to be a future Hall of Famer, somebody who's very talented at the plate, you know? Yeah, Houston, Texas. Dave says the Cubs won. Yes, that's why the Padres surprised me. The Padres managed, what, one run? They were leading 1-0 early, and I thought for sure they were going to win, not because of the lead, but just because they're playing the Curbs. And I thought for sure the Curbs won't get past the wild card round, but now they have a game. Now anything can happen. I disagree with your opinion there, Texas Dave. Aaron Judge, I think, is definitely ahead of Cal Raleigh. I don't think there's a real comparison there when you look at their numbers for the season. Of course, that's my opinion, but the fact is, if you look at the actual performance, if you want to go strictly by numbers, then Aaron Judge is hands down better than Cal Raleigh. But Landon, you might get your wish. I have no idea who's going to win this series. I really do. Or I should say, I really don't. Red Sox are going to be up to bat first. Max Fried is on the mound today for the Yankees. He's going to be facing Rob Refsnyder to start it off. Trevor Story will follow soon after that, and the old ex-Astro Alex Bregman himself, Breggy. Speaking of Judge, there he goes out on the field. QQQ. That's how you say 99 in Japanese. QQQ. Landon thinks it's going to be 5-4. You think the Red Sox are going to beat the Yankees 5-4? Well, Landon, I'm going to predict that the Yankees get 7 runs this game. And they give up 5. So there you go. I'm going to predict that this game is 7-5 Yankees. Hey, Caesar, good to see you. Nice to see some familiar faces. I hope everybody's doing all right today. Thanks for coming in and supporting the live stream. I know that these are not the teams that Astros fans want to see, but these are the teams who are playing, that's for sure. Let me try to move that over just a little bit. There we go. At least I'm able to get my Astros jacket on today, my 2-color Astros jacket that I had made in China, especially for me. First pitch is on the way, and Ref Snyder hits it to the shortstop and makes a nice throw. Good play. 1 pitch, 1 away. That was similar to the Guardians Tigers game. First 2 pitches were 2 outs. One up and 1 down. Trevor Story at the plate. Next pitch from Max Fried on the way. 95 right in the center of the plate. A cutter, strike 1. Caesar says Red Sox are Yankees kryptonite. Can you imagine the Red Sox with Altuve? Oh, man. Can you imagine how much more the Yankees would hate Altuve? 10 times more he played with the Red Sox. 1 ball, 1 strike to Trevor Story with 1 out. 1-1-1. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. Below the zone, 88 miles an hour on the changeup. That was a nice little toss. A nice little toss. What if I called a game like this? Would you like it? I don't understand baseball. Where I come from, we're not really into baseball. Here's the next pitch for Max Fried. It's a swing and a miss. He got himself a strikeout, he did. 90-mile-an-hour changeup, it seems to be. What? That's enough of that. Out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. Max Fried's like, I'll teach you dirty Red Sox. You smelly socks. Breggy at the plate. 96 miles an hour on that outside edge. It's strike 1. We're going to see a Breggy bomb today. Batting .273 this year with 18 homers and 62 RBIs. Why couldn't he do that for the Astros last year? In the dirt. That does seem low, though. I know that he took off some time for injuries. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bregman with 2 outs. Nary a soul on base here in the top of the first. Here's the toss. A little high. 95-mile-per-hour cutter. 2 balls and 1 strike. This is grounded on the right side. That's going to be a single for Bregman. 96-mile-per-hour cutter. Put it right through the hole next to the second baseman. Yeah, they were just showing Bregman's success against the Yankees. Pretty sure the Yankees fans know full well some of the pain that Bregman has given them. Romy Gonzalez comes to the plate. First pitch is on the way. 96 on that outside lower edge. Good toss. Good call by the umpire. Strike one. I think I wasn't doing Australian there. That was a British accent. Good day, mate. This would be more like an Australian accent, mate. I got a couple of Aussie friends. One of them's coming to visit very soon, actually. But I'm sure they would make fun of my accent. That is a ground out for Romy. Romy's going to roam back to the dugout. So a single by Bregman doesn't lead to anything. Max Fried has 4 up and 3 down. One single. And then that's it for the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first with Garrett Crochet. Let's see what he can sew together against the New York Yankees today. Paul Goldschmidt is going to lead it off for the Yanks, followed by Mr. Aaron Judge, and then Cody Bellinger. The Yankees lineup. I forgot to give you the Red Sox lineup. Let's take a look at who's in the outfield today, or who's in the field. We already know who's on the mound. We got Ref Snyder leading it off. Actually, we don't need to give the batting order. I'll just tell you the position. Ref Snyder's the DH today. Story at shortstop. Bregman at third base. Gonzalez at first base. Narvaez catching. Eaton in right field. Duran in left field. Rafaela in center, and Sogard at second base. Yankees lineup, starting with Paul Goldschmidt. He's at first base. Second is Aaron Judge in right field. Third is Cody Bellinger in left field. After that, batting cleanup is Stanton, then Rosario. Stanton is the DH today. Rosario is at second base. Grisham in center field. Volpe at shortstop. I'm amazed he's still there. Wells catching, and Caballero at third base. Crochet appears to be finished warming up. Goldschmidt is in the box. We'll get the first pitch from Crochet in just a moment. And here it comes. Right in the top of the zone. 97 miles an hour, strike one. Thanks, Landon. Sounds authentic. Maybe I would get made fun of by the native speakers, though. Low and inside, 1-1. Here's the toss. That's ripped into left field for a single. That sweeper stayed up, and he made him pay for it on a 1-1 pitch. Goldschmidt is on first base, and Aaron Judge has a base runner. Everybody's standing up in the stadium right now. Here comes the first pitch to Judge. That's lined through the left side. That's another single. Back to back. 2 swings back to back and 2 singles. 1 line drive to left field and 1 on the ground through the hole. Goldschmidt and Judge back-to-back singles. You can see that. Man, what's he doing throwing it right there? He definitely didn't mean to put it in that spot. Right up in the zone. That was definitely an accident. You don't throw right there to Aaron Judge. Cody Bellinger comes to the plate with 2 on and no outs. Woo, he could have swung at that one. 98 on the inside, strike 1. Make sure you like the live stream if you haven't already. I appreciate you doing that. Minimal support to help the channel. 91 on the outside. Cutter misses for ball 1. The count is even. Here's the next pitch from Crochet. 98 right in there, fouled off. Bellinger couldn't catch up with it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. 99 above the zone, swing and a miss. He chased it, and that's a strikeout. 1 down. Runners remain on first and second. I've got my really, really hot water right here. But where's my, aha. Got my tea bags. I'm going to have tea instead of coffee. I think that I'll give myself a headache if I have more coffee this morning. My body wants to sleep. Here's the toss. 98. He swings at it. That fastball. Fouls it off. Giancarlo Stanton at the plate with his insane OPS. Not as insane as Judge, but still. Here's the toss. 98 miles an hour inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. There we go. Hot water incoming. Everybody back up as it splatters everywhere. Next pitch from Crochet on the way. Low and inside. 2-1. Oh, yeah, that's going to be nice. That's going to be really nice. It's about 7:20 in the morning here in Hiroshima. What time is it for you guys and gals? Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. Why are you going after that one, buddy? The sweeper on the outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Stanton. Carlos striking on that one. He hits this one to the left side. Could be a double play, and it is. Man, this looks like Astros baseball. I think I said that in the last game. That's going to do it for the Yankees. They threaten in the bottom of the first, but a ground ball goes right into an easy double play. First inning of ball is over. 2 hits for the Yankees. 1 hit for the Sox. But nothing doing other than that. Everything else is zeros. I swear, it feels like deja vu. I am once again watching an Astros game. 2 guys get on base right off the bat, and then they are promptly stranded. And with that double play, it makes me feel like I'm home. Larry, I'm not sure I want that tea bag. I think I'll settle for my Lipton Earl Grey. Thank you very much. What if I called game like Russian? Where I come from, we don't play baseball. We wrestle bear. Big bear. We don't have Super Bowl, we have Super Bear. World Series, no World Series. We have Series Bear. Big Bear eat you. But I teach you fight. I teach you big fight. If I called all of my games like that and I pretended like I'd never watched baseball in my life, I think everybody would just subscribe to my channel. I just make a channel that is a fake Russian calling sports and he doesn't understand how the sports work. It'd be like this. All right, big man with stick, big stick, like a club, but smaller than club, bigger than stick, smaller than club, comes to plate. Looks like dinner plate, but strange shape. Ball is thrown across this plate. He tries to swing it, hit it. Max Fried back on the mound for the Yankees. Carlos Narvaez at the plate. That's in there for strike one. Or is it Narvaez? With the accent mark, I want to say it's Narvaez. Can't remember. I'll get it right. Promise you. 0-1. 73 on the outside. Yeah, I was right. It's Narvaez. I was right the first time, and I need to trust myself more. Give myself a little more trust, a little more faith. 1-1 is the count. Narvaez. 73 below the zone on the big curveball. That was a big curveball. 73 miles an hour, dropped it below the zone, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 90-mile-per-hour changeup blown away. Max Fried gets a strikeout. Next man up is Nate Eaton. Check swing, but he goes around on the sweeper inside. 83 miles an hour, strike one. Nate Eaton. That's a name you can't say easily. If you run it together, it sounds funny. Nate Eaton. Are you Nate Eaton? Nate Eaton? 86 mile per hour changeup high and outside for ball one. The count's even. th pitch of the game for Fried. This is a tapper to second. Rosario grabs it and throws it to first. Eaton is going down for out number 2. That's interesting. Tommy John, they just showed some information about him on the screen. It happened in 1975. That's the freaking year I was born. Swing and a miss there by Jarren Duran. The count is 0-1 with 2 outs and nobody on. Lefty on lefty crime going on right now. 97 right up the middle on a slow roller. He has to hurry, and he's got it over there for out number 3. Once again, nothing doing for the Red Sox. This inning was even quicker than the last. No single, no walk. Just 3 outs. 2 grounders and a strikeout for Fried. They retired in a row. 1, 2, 3. The Yanks will be... Yeah, it's too early for me. The Yanks will be back up in just a moment, starting with Rosario, and then Grisham and Volpe. Landon, if you're there, let me ask you a question, and this goes for anybody else who's a Yankees fan. Do you want to get rid of Volpe? Because I've seen and heard so much negative stuff from Yankees podcasters and fans about how much they can't stand Volpe and they just want him gone. I was wondering if you felt the same way. That's good. That's real good. I sure hope that I'm able to go back to sleep after this game. It might be around 10 o'clock before that happens. And if it is, man, it's going to be weird going to bed at 10 o'clock. I'm going to pull up some information about my last live stream. MLB has been targeting me on one particular video recently. They keep claiming clips of it over and 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 over. Yep, they claim some more. And the same one, it's the next to last game of the season versus the Angels. I don't know why they keep attacking that one video. Rosario's at the plate. He takes the first pitch in there for strike one. Here comes the next pitch from Crochet. Almost hits him on the inside, 98 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the next toss. 85 miles an hour below the zone and inside on that changeup, but he goes after it and misses it. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rosario. Here comes the next toss. Grounder to the shortstop. Rosario stumbles a little bit on his way to first base, and that's an easy out as Story tosses it over there. One up and one down. Trent Grisham comes to the plate. Here's the first pitch to Mr. Grisham. Ooh, 97 on that outside upper edge. Close to the corner. Called a ball. Could have been a strike. 1-0 with 1 out, nobody on. Here in the bottom of the second. Here's the toss. 98 right in there. That's a strike. Clearly. 1 ball, 1 strike. Grisham. Hey, Ben, good to see you. Ben says, let's go NY. 91 on the cutter. Way outside. Swing and a miss. Grisham chases it. Now the count's 1-2. Here comes a 1-2 toss. He tries to pull that one, the 98 mile per hour inside lower corner. 98 mile per hour fastball, swing and a miss. 2 down. Anthony Volpe comes to the plate. Tough pitch to hit. .97 on the upper outer corner. That was a little far out there, but it did barely clip the edge of the zone. Strike 1. Here's the next toss. Too low and inside. 1-1 is the count. Crochet up to 23 pitches now. Here's the next pitch. Fouls that back. 97 miles an hour right in the middle of the zone. 1-2 is the count. Here's the pitch. That's hit out into right field and sails off into the crowd. Cameraman lost the ball. He didn't know where it was at. It was way over on the right side of the screen. He never saw it. I was wondering where he was going. That's hit hard to right field, out to the wall. It's going to be gone. Look at that. The one guy I was just talking about, the one guy that all the fans have been complaining about, hits an opposite field homer out to right field. It's 1-0 Yankees. With 2 outs and 2 strikes, Volpe gets a homer. I think out of everybody on the Yankees lineup, this is the one guy that's got to feel good about hitting a homer. Fans are like, all right, glad to see him doing something, but I still don't like him. I think so. Austin Wells comes to the plate. And here's the first pitch. Swings and fouls off that first pitch. That's the reason why I predicted the Yankees to have 7 runs this game. Not because the Red Sox pitchers aren't good, but because the Yankees have the ability to hit a lot of homers. And if Volpe's going to hit homers, there's no telling what the others will do. $14 home runs allowed in the last 11 games for Crochet. Just to let you know, 98 miles an hour up and in. Ball 1. Counts 1-1 to Austin Wells. Here comes the toss. This is hit high in the air. Broken bat, fly ball. First baseman is going to take it. Romy Gonzalez, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. Yankees get 1 hit, but it's a hit that matters, and that's the opposite field homer by Volpe right there. It's 1-0 Yankees at the end of 2. 3 hits for the Yankees and 1 hit for the Red Sox. We go into the top of the 3rd. Max Fried at 21 pitches, 15 strikes. He'll be back on the mound in just a moment. Ceddanne Rafaela is set to lead it off for the Red Sox in the top of the 3rd, followed by Nick Sogard and then Rob Refsnyder, the top of the batting order. Got 24 people watching right now. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Go Dome. I am doing some of these playoff games. If you want to subscribe, turn on notifications, you will be able to see exactly which games I'm going to be doing and when I do them. After this game, I'm going to go ahead and schedule a couple more. And any other playoff games that I do will be scheduled. And you're welcome to join in, listen in, watch, chat. You might even want to donate. Who knows? Super chats, super stickers, PayPal, buy me a coffee, Patreon, all of the above. Heck, I even have Wise. You want to send me some money on Wise? That would be a wise thing to do. Womp womp. I don't have my background light on. I'm going to grab that right quick. Ceddanne Rafaela is at the plate. First pitch to him. Swing and a miss on the outside edge. Nice cutter. 93 miles an hour. The count is 1-1. Time for some more mentholatum lip balm. 94 miles an hour on that next pitch outside. He lays off that one. Here comes the next pitch. 85, high and outside. The changeup missing the mark. 3 balls and 1 strike to Rafaela. No outs. Nobody on. Here comes the next toss. 95 miles an hour at the top of the zone. He hits that one straight up into right field. Judge is underneath it. Puts it away for out number 1. Rafaela flies out. Makes way for Nick Sogard to come to the plate. He's actually wearing a Volpe shirt. Everybody's pointing at it. Wonder how many people are actually wearing a Volpe shirt. Check it. Check swing there. He does not go around, says the ump, and that's ball 1. Max Fried knocking at the door of 30 pitches. He has 27 right now. Here comes the next pitch. Sogard takes that one. It's a couple inches above the zone. 2 balls and no strikes. A lot of balls thrown this inning by Max Fried. That's 5 to the first 2 batters. Here comes the next toss. Right in there, 96 mile per hour fastball. Man, sure did get chilly in here this morning. Here comes the next toss. Wow, that's ripped foul. Man, way out there in left field into the crowd. Sogard gave that one a ride. The count stays 2-2. Here comes the next pitch. That one's fair. It's also ripped into left field. Bellinger runs over there to grab it. Sogard is going to have to stop at first base. So the first one he ripped foul. Second one he ripped, stayed in. Nice solid hit to left field. That's the second hit of the game for the Red Sox. They've got 2. The Yankees have 3. Brady doesn't look too happy about that. 1 down, 1 on, and now 1 strike. The 83 mile per hour sweeper right in the middle of the plate against Rob Refsnyder. Refsnyder's 0 for 1 today. This is his second at bat. He's the leadoff batter for the Sox today. 1 ball, 1 strike on that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 runner on first. A lot of ones. Here's the next pitch from Fried. This one's hit straight up in the air to center field. Pretty deep, though. He's going all the way back almost to the edge of the warning track. Sogard goes in with a tag. Look at that. He makes it. Nick Sogard is able to tag and make it over. Pretty gutsy. Works out really well. So with 2 outs. The throw just wasn't there. Terrible throw. 97 miles an hour, up and outside a little bit, fouled off by Trevor Story. Story batting .263 this season with 25 homers and a .741 OPS. Counts 0-1. Here's the next pitch from Fried. Whoa, big curveball. Swing and a miss. 0-2 with 2 outs. They got a runner on second base. Let's see what happens right here. Everybody's standing and clapping. All the Red Sox fans, all the Yankees fans, everybody's clapping. And everybody expecting different results. 0-2 pitch is on the way. Gets him on a big curveball in the dirt. Swing and a miss, 79 miles an hour. Three strikeouts. Oh, good grief. Spike Lee. That's it for the top of the third. The Red Sox come up short. They get a hit, a tag to second base. And then nothing else. Bottom of the third, Jose Caballero comes to the plate in just a moment, followed by Paul Goldschmidt and then Aaron Judge. Garrett Crochet at 29 pitches, 21 strikes. How many do we have following along right now? About 22. Very modest. Similar to the numbers I had for the last live stream earlier. I thought maybe because it was early in the day, but maybe not. I guess most people for the playoff games are really wanting to watch the games live. But for some people, some of my subscribers and some other people have told me that they can't watch the games. They're kind of blacked out where they are. I'd like to be able to show more of the game, but obviously that's not really possible on YouTube. MLB has been aggressively attacking one of my videos recently, claiming even 3 seconds. 3 seconds of clips. Crazy. I don't know why they're attacking that one video. I'm having to chop it apart. Here's the first pitch to Caballero. 92 in the bottom of the zone for strike one on the cutter. 686 OPS, 236 batting average, and 5 homers this year. Swing and a miss, low and inside on the sweeper. It's 0-2. A Red Sox and a Yankees fan chatting. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. 97 above the zone, 1-2. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. High and outside. Fastball at 97 miles an hour misses the mark by a substantial margin. Counts even, 2-2. Here's the toss. Whoa, that's a foul ball off the face mask of the catcher, Nevaez, but he seems okay. Yankees' longest title droughts. Right now, they are in their third longest title drought. Fouled off the catcher again. The count remains 2-2. Here's the next pitch. Way high. 96-mile-per-hour fastball missing the mark, and it's a full count. Crochet up to 36 pitches now. Having a bit of a battle with Caballero. Swing and a miss there. 98 miles an hour, just slightly above the zone. That was a much better location. Yeah, always better to throw it just an inch or two above the zone rather than 2 feet above the zone. Could have let it go. Paul Goldschmidt comes to the plate with nobody on and 1 out. 91 right in there. The cutter for strike 1. 731 OPS and a 274 batting average this season with 10 homers. Swing and a miss, low and outside. Nice changeup. 0-2 is the count. Hey, Tyler, you're welcome. My pleasure. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. My subscribers have made it possible for me to do the postseason. Got a couple of extra donations specifically to be applied towards covering these games. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Outside. The changeup misses really wide. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Goldschmidt. 1 out, nobody on. Bottom of the third. Yankees up by 1. Next pitch from Crochet on the way. Outside again. I don't know many batters that will chase that besides Diaz, Yainer Diaz. Every once in a while, Pena would chase those, especially last year, man. He was chasing crap like crazy. Here's a 2-2 pitch. High and outside. Full count. Crochet missing his mark quite a few times on the last couple of batters. But yeah, Tyler, what I was saying is that I have some subscribers that really wanted to see some of these playoff games, so they donated, and that's why I'm here. Swing and a miss in the dirt. He's going to jog down to first base. They throw it to first base. They don't even throw the... They don't even show the throw to first base. They don't even care about it. They treat that like highlights treat the extra point in the football films. They're like, nah, can't be bothered with that. The camera operator who does the switching between cameras is like, nah, can't be bothered to press the button there. Aaron Judge comes to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. 97 right in the zone. Strike 1. Here comes the next pitch. 98 up and in, ball 1. The count is even. Tyler, yeah, there's basically, if you're doing commentary and most of the footage is mine and I'm just doing clips with commentary, it's okay. But I have to limit the length. 2 balls and 1 strike to Judge. Next pitch is in the dirt. 3 balls and 1 strike. So he starts Judge off with a strike right in the zone. And after that, he doesn't give him anything in the zone. Not sure if it's a control issue, but we'll see here. That's hit hard out to left center field. And it's too high. No distance on it. The crowd thought it was going to go. They cheered at first as soon as it was hit into the air. But it was just a high fly ball to left center field. And that's out number 3. So Judge flies out for the 3rd out of the inning. Crochet gets out of it. without any extra damage. The Yankees maintain their 1-0 lead through 3 innings. We go to the top of the fourth with Max Fried due back up. He's up to 37 pitches. He's going to be facing former Astro Alex Bregman, then Romy Gonzalez, and then Carlos Narvaez. Yeah, he is, Jesse. He's due up next, actually. Bregman had a single, an opposite field single, his first bat. I appreciate that, Tyler. Yeah, actually, I originally got the idea about doing some of the highlights and the clips from a lady that does the Astros live play-by-play. She does the play-by-play in Spanish. It was the only Astros live play-by-play that I could find on YouTube. And she, of course, I only studied Spanish for 1 year. So listening to her was challenging because I couldn't understand most of what was said. I mean, and that's another thing. You might say, well, why didn't you just study and improve your Spanish? Well, because I live in Japan and I was studying Japanese, and I'm still studying Japanese. There's a lot more for me to learn. I'm not going to be studying Spanish while living in Japan and studying Japanese. That doesn't help me at all, especially just to listen to the broadcasts. So I started paying for the Astros radio broadcasts, but I got tired of that. The MLB app doesn't actually work very well, because if you want to just listen to the radio broadcast and then put your phone in your pocket, for some reason that stupid app doesn't work very well with that. After maybe 1 minute, it will just stop. I don't know why. Bregman is at the plate. That pitch was below the zone. The sweeper called a strike. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Big curveball in the dirt, 1-1. One for one with a single today, 821 OPS for the season. Here comes the next pitch. 74 on that curveball, right in the bottom of the zone, swing and a miss, 1 ball and 2 strikes. I wonder if we're going to see a Breggy bomb, one of the classic Alex Bregman line drive home runs. Look at all those people standing there wearing the exact same shirt. Here's the toss in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two-two pitch from Fried is on the way. Swing and a miss on the 89-mile-per-hour changeup. Man, that was right in there. No excuse for Bregman to miss that one, except for it was just a good pitch. Here comes the next pitch. Low and outside. Barely misses that lower outside corner on the 97-mile-per-hour fastball. Romy Gonzalez with the 826 OPS, 305 batting average for the season. Just 9 homers. 0 for 1 today. Ground ball should be 0 for 2. Here's the throw, and they get him at first base. Out number 2. Romy's going to roam to the dugout again. Carlos Narvaez comes to the plate next. Fried up to 44 pitches. 29 of those in the zone. Here's the toss in the dirt. Blown away. 96 mile per hour sinker. 1-0. 726 OPS, 241 batting average for Carlos. Here's the toss. Whoa. That sweeper got away from Fried. Sailed over the head of the catcher. High and outside. Look at this. See ya. He's like, what? 2-0 is the count. 97 in the top of the zone. That fastball's in there. 2-1. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. Upper outer corner just barely misses on the changeup. 3 balls and 1 strike. Two outs, nobody on. 3-1 count. 49th pitch coming from Fried. On that inside edge, 93 mile per hour cutter, strike 2, and it is a full count. Pitch number 50 coming up. Crowd starts standing to their feet. Some lady in the crowd with what appears to be a newborn baby in her arms. Are you serious? I hope it has some earplugs. Here comes the full count pitch to Narvaez. 98 miles an hour. Woo! Up and out on that upper outer corner. 98 miles an hour. They're not too happy about that. Ball 4. Could have been called either way. Runner on base with 2 outs. That's a strike in the bottom of the zone on the curveball. Nate Eaton at the plate. 731 OPS, 296 batting average, and only 1 home run. Just 1 homer? Really? But his OPS is not very high, so I guess he's a single and double guy. Mostly singles. He fouls that one off. That's another one off the mask of the catcher, this time the Yankees catcher. It's an 0-2 count. Crowd's on their feet again, looking for that strikeout from Max Fried. Runner on first with 2 down, 2 strikes. Low and outside on the changeup, 1-2. Hey, Angel, man of culture. Round 2. Yeah, I took my power nap, but minus the power. Not too much power in it. 98 on the outside edge. Check swing. He doesn't go. Crowd wanted it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, he held up. Good hold up there. Crowd's booing now because the batter steps out of the box. Now that is too picky. I don't think I've ever heard a crowd boo because a batter steps out of the box. Got to be New York. It's headed in our right field. It's going to be down. A blooper to right field. Going all the way to the wall. And Narvaez goes to third easily. Judge throws it in. Eaton goes to second base. Nate Eaton has himself a double. Runners on second and third. Right in the middle of the zone. Yep. Looked like he was trying to go inside with it. Too much plate. Just rolls it out into right field. Jaron Duran comes to the plate with runners on second and third and 2 outs. Here's the first pitch. 97 up and in, ball one. Red Sox threatening now with 2 runners in scoring position. I think the Yankees will boo everything. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Low. 98 miles an hour, almost in the dirt, and that's going to get the catcher to come out to the mound and have a little chit-chat with Fried. Slow things down a little bit. Mini powwow on the mound. Jarren Duran at the plate with a 2-0 count. Runners on second and third. 2 outs. Meeting adjourned, fellas. Let's get back to work. 57 pitches now for Fried. And now the fans are praying. Some of them were standing and cheering. And now some of them are sitting down praying. Suddenly we're religious. Here comes the next pitch to Duran. Whoa, way above the zone. 97 mile per hour cutter misses the mark. Largely. 3-0. That's right, Angel. As soon as Altuve goes in the park, the crowd starts booing. He probably gets booed as he's coming in on the bus. 92, lower inside corner, strike one. 3-1 is the count. You know, I think that Judge could hit like 4 homers and then come up in the 9th inning for a 5th at bat and strike out, and they'd boo him. 95 in the top of the zone, strike 2. So the count was 3-0 to Jarren Duran. And he kept taking pitches. The next 2 were strikes. So now it comes down to this, a full count with 2 outs, runners on second and third. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Max Fried is pumped. A sweeper over the top of the zone, and Duran chases it. Duran would have had ball 4 if he just let it go. Yankees fans' prayers were answered on that pitch. 3 hits for the Sox and the Yankees. But the score is 1-0 Yankees. That's the end of the top of the 4th. We go into the bottom of the 4th. That's right, Angel. A couple of lobsters. As a matter of fact, we can take a look, see who's got the lobsters. Well, with that, the Yankees take the lobster lead. They have 5. The Yankees have 4. The difference being that the Yankees actually brought one of those lobsters home, turned it into a run. Pretty interesting watching these teams. The Tigers-Guardians game earlier, despite being a low-scoring game, had a lot of interesting things in it. If the Astros were playing this game right now, even if they were in the Yankees position with 1 run, I would feel frustrated with their performance. If they were the Red Sox, I would also feel frustrated, just slightly more so. Pitching hasn't been bad. They've been locking it down. With the exception of the 1 solo homer, then they've been holding the fort. So it's not bad. Garrett Crochet is up to 49 pitches. He'll be facing Cody Bellinger. Well, Bellinger swings at the very first pitch. Grounds it over to the second baseman, who promptly throws him out at first base, and he'll go have a seat. Get back to the bench, boy. Giancarlo Stanton comes to the plate. Bellinger's 0 for 2 today. Stanton is 0 for 1. Here's the first pitch. A little inside on the cutter, ball 1. Ahmed Rosario is on deck. Here comes a pitch. Fouled off. 83-mile-an-hour sweeper below the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the toss from Crochet. 98 miles an hour inside, ball 2. Whenever these pitchers crank it up 98, 99, 100 miles an hour, try to buzz it in there and miss their mark, it's got to feel a little annoying. That's a foul ball on the sweeper. The count's even, 2-2. Two pitch above the zones, full count. Good at bat by Stanton, forcing Crochet to weave it into the zone. There's the toss. 91 right in the middle of the plate. The cutter gets him for strike 3. And that's, 5 strikeouts? First pitch in there to Rosario, low and inside. Ball 1. Rosario batting 276 for the season with a 746 OPS. 92 in the bottom of the zone, swing and a miss. The count's even at 1-1. Here's the toss. 83 miles an hour on the sweeper. The Swiffer fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rosario 0 for 1 today. Looks like he might be about to be 0 for 2. Whoa, did that hit him? No? Okay, that was close. I guess the sound on the glove, it sounded like it might have got him. Might have clipped him, but it didn't. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the toss. 96 at the top of the zone. He fouls it off. Count remains 2-2. Larry, I'm not sure that I believe you anymore when you say that, because you said before that you had 5K on the Astros. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure I believe you. Because that game the Astros won, and that means you would have won your bet. And now you say that the 5K is all the money you have, including your rent. I don't know what to believe anymore when you say stuff like that. Here's the 2-2. This is a ground ball. Story charges it, fires it over to first. And that's the 3rd out of the inning. 3 up and 3 down for Crochet. No harm done in the bottom of the 4th, and that is the end of the 4th inning. The game, as it stands, is 1-0 Yankees. I was expecting there to be more runs by this time. So either it's going to be another one of those struggles to the finish, or the floodgates will open at some point, but we'll see. I really felt like there would be scoring in this game. The last game was a low-scoring affair. Ceddanne Rafaela is due up next for the Red Sox, followed by Nick Sogard and Rob Refsnyder. Max Fried is up to 61 pitches through 4 innings. He's averaging roughly 15 pitches per inning. A little high, but not too bad. "37 of those 61 have been strikes. Sports and Fun says go Sox. He basically said the same thing that I said, other than the homer by Volpe. They've managed to hold together pretty well. I agree. He must have been listening to me. First pitch to Rafaela on the way. Big curveball on the very outside edge. Man, that was kind of generous. 0-1 is the count. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss, low and outside. Another curveball. 0-2, just like that. Rafaela calls timeout. Steps out of the box. Here comes the 0-2. In the dirt. 1-2 is the count. Top of the 5th. Red Sox batting with nobody on and no outs. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count to Ceddanne Rafaela. Here's the toss. This is hit up the middle, but straight to the second baseman, who fires it over to first. Rosario gets the out. 1 up and 1 down. Nick Sogard comes to the plate. Here comes the pitch. The sweeper just misses the mark. Sogard's 1 for 1 today with a single. Here comes the next pitch. Woo, nice curveball. Fried has that big arching curveball, big lollipop curveball. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. That's hit out into left center field. Might be trouble. No, the center fielder is able to grab it. Had about 1,000 players go after it. Volpe and a few others. But the center fielder takes care of it, and that's 2 down. Rob Refsnyder comes to the plate, the top of the batting order. Is up for the 3rd time against Max Fried. Here comes the first pitch. 97 at the top of the zone, fouled back for strike 1. How many people do we have following along? About 22? Okay. So it seems pretty consistent with what the viewers were earlier. I was expecting more because of the time of day. But I guess not. Everybody's just in front of their TVs, or most people are in front of the TV. Here comes the next pitch to Refsnyder, low and outside. From 1-1 to 2-1. 2-1, rather. 2-1. That's right. It's a ratio. 2 balls to 1 strike ratio. Two outs, nobody on. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. 95 right in there. Rev Snyder fouls it off, and the count is now 2-2. Crowd is cheering again. Looking for that strikeout. Pitch clock winding down. Here comes the toss. Curve below the zone. And he misses the mark. 3-2. Here comes the pitch. Outside, way outside. Not even competitive. That's ball 4. He walks him. Rev Snyder goes to first base, and that'll bring up Trevor Story. 2 strikeouts for Trevor Story tonight. Let's see if he has better luck this time. 741 OPS, 263 batting average, and 25 homers on the season. Here's the toss. Fouls it off. Oh, and 1 is the count. Here comes a pitch from Fried. Another lollipop curve flowing inside, swing and a miss. 0-2 is the count. Last 3 Red Sox to lead the team in home runs, RBIs, runs, and stolen base. Last one was Mookie Betts. Trevor Story is the next one. 0-2 with 2 outs, runner on first. Here's the toss from Fried. No, he goes to first base, but not a serious throw. That's going to be 1 disengagement. Here's the toss. Grounds it through the hole on the left side. Volpe tries to make a throw, but he can't. He makes the catch and keeps the ball from going through the hole. But as he tries to come up and make a leaping throw to first base, he just can't get the ball out of his glove. Or it did come out, it just fumbled it. That's going to be a hit. It's highly unlikely he would have been able to make that throw. And that brings up Alex Bregman with runners on first and second. This is a guy that has put a lot of hurt on the Yankees. 821 OPS, 273 batting average, 18 homers. Former Astro Alex Bregman with 2 runners on and 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Fried. Check swing, fouls it off. That was a half swing. 95 at the top of the zone, strike 1. I think the Yankees fans standing there with their arms crossed. Some of them sitting back down praying. Yankees nursing a 1-run lead. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's a bouncer to the third base side. He's going to have to hurry, and he's got it. Bregman's not fast enough to outrun it, and that's out number 3. Fried and the Yankees managed to get out of it again. Caballero makes the play on the bouncer to the third base side. Had to kind of run around the base runner there to get it. And was able to do it for the 3rd out. 2 more lobsters for the Red Sox. They've got 7. 7 runners that were on base, and they failed to move them around. Even one base. 7 different runners. 7 different opportunities. And they missed those opportunities. Crazy. The Yankees have missed 4 opportunities, but with that solo homer, they've got the lead. It's 1-0 going into the bottom of the 5th. 4 hits for the Red Sox, 3 for the Yankees. It's 1-0 Yankees. Pretty interesting. Red Sox keep getting close. Keep getting close, but no cigar. And you know what we say in baseball? Almost isn't good enough. We are officially halfway through this game. Man, these commercials, when I see American commercials now, look at this. American commercials just kill me. They take all of the smallest minorities and put them in the commercial. I think it's interesting because when it feels like it's deliberate and shoehorned instead of natural, it just feels strange, you know? When it looks deliberate and purposeful, it just feels strange. When it's natural and it makes sense, I don't even notice it. It makes sense. The first pitch to Grisham is fouled away. Woo, almost got him. 96 miles an hour on the inside. The count's 1-1. There's the toss. 97 up and in. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here comes a toss. 96 on the inside upper corner. And that is a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Grisham is having a little chit-chat with the umpire, verifying that that's a good pitch. Here comes the 2-2. On the inside edge, called strike 3. Crochet picks up a strikeout on Grisham. And talking with Boone here. '97 in the top of the zone. Volpe at the plate. Had a home run his earlier at bat. He's 1 for 1 today. First pitcher's in there for a strike. Second pitch is a ball. That one was in the dirt. The changeup missing quite a bit low. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. That's high. 2-1. 96 mile per hour fastball missing. We're in the bottom of the 5th. With 1 out, nobody on. Anthony Volpe at the plate. 91 miles an hour on the inside, fouls it off. Counts even 2-2. 30 people watching right now. Thanks for joining in. Make sure you click that like, that little thumbs up below the live stream. I'd much appreciate that. Thank you very much. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. 84 on the inside. The Swiffer fouled off. Count remains 2-2. 73 pitches now with that sweeper from Garrett Crochet. 47 of his pitches strikes. Here's the next toss. 84 below the zone, another sweeper. The count remains 2-2. Here comes the next pitch. That one's hit hard out into right field and into the crowd. That's similar to what Volpe did his home run at bat. He fouled it off into right field, into the right field crowd. And then after that, he hit an opposite field home run. Here's a pitch. Woo, he doesn't do it this time. This time, 90 miles an hour, low and inside on the cutter. Swing and a miss. And he goes down, swinging. Out number 2. Austin Wells at the plate. Takes that first pitch low and away on the outside edge. Strike 1. Here comes the next pitch. Woo! 84 mile per hour sweeper. Pig roast. Oh, and 2. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. 98. Upper outer corner fouled off. The count remains 0-2. The crowd's really quiet right now. Not much going on offensively this inning. There's the 0-2 pitch. He hits that one foul. Count remains 0-2, and that's pitch number 80 for Crochet. Crochet looking like he's panting a little bit. He looks a little tired, a little winded. 98 at the top of the zone. He rung him up for strike 3. 96 miles an hour, right at the top of the zone. 8 strikeouts for Crochet. He cruises through the 5th inning, but he had to throw quite a few pitches to get through it. One to nothing Yankees at the end of 5. 4 hits for the Red Sox, 3 for the Yankees, but the only hit that matters is the opposite field homer by Anthony Volpe. No errors for either team. Max Fried at 79 pitches. He's due up against Romy Gonzalez, followed by Carlos Narvaez and Nate Eaton. I hope you're all doing all right today. Wish you all nothing but the best. Let's see how many likes we have on the live stream right now. If you have not liked the live stream, I appreciate you doing so and helping out the channel. I think most of you already have. Got 27 following right now and 30 likes on the channel. Generally, as long as I have as many likes as the average view count, then I'm happy with that. Whenever the view count is lower, the likes tend to be equal to the view count. But whenever I get up to like 1,000 views on average, well, actually, I've never had 1,000 people viewing at the same time. Usually it's no more than maybe 250 concurrent viewers. Generally, even the most popular live streams, to have 250 people watching at the same time is a pretty good live stream. Pretty good live stream, especially for a small channel like mine. But if I have 250 people concurrently viewing on average throughout the game, then I'd like to have 250 likes. First pitch on the lower outside corner to Romy Gonzalez, and that is a strike. 2 ground outs for Romy today. He's batting .305 for the season. Let's see what he does here. Another curveball, but a swing and a miss that time, 0-2. Freed jumps out ahead of him quickly. Yeah, I'm starting to feel like I'm definitely going to be able to sleep easy when the game is over. Just going to have to cover my eyes up. Here's the pitch. Another big curveball, but he misses low and outside. 1-2 is the count. Top of the 6th. Leadoff batter, Romy Gonzalez facing Max Fried for the 3rd time. 5 innings pitched for Max Fried, 83 pitches, 51 strikes. Here's the toss. That's way outside, 2-2. Larry, how much do you think I get paid for every live stream? You can take a guess. Here's the toss. 87 outside on the changeup. Romy goes after it, and he's going to go roaming back to the dugout again for the 3rd time. That's the only roaming he's doing today. 1 down. Carlos Narvaez at the plate. Here comes the first pitch. Below the zone on the sinker. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Angel is right. That is the correct answer. It actually costs me money to do the live stream. Nobody pays me to do the live stream. $1,000. Man, I wish. Holy cow! If I got $1,000 to do one live stream, man, I don't think I'd ever sleep. I'd keep doing them all day long. I would sacrifice my health for the money. Here comes the 0-2 pitch in the dirt. 1-2 to Mr. Narvaez. Larry, if you want to rephrase your question, perhaps a better question is, how much can you earn on one live stream? That's a better question, because the idea that somebody pays me to do the live stream, it sounds wonderful. Curveball on the outside, check swing. Or rather, he holds back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The crowd kind of wanted that call, but here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fouled back. The cutter, 93 at the top of the zone. The count remains 2-2. A stream like this, I will probably only make a few dollars as far as what YouTube will pay me, because I will make $1 maybe or $2 if I'm lucky on a stream this small. Here's the pitch. 74-mile-per-hour curveball. Wow, on the upper outer corner. That looked like a strike. Called ball 3. We have a full count. Look how close this was. Woof. Probably because it was a really big curve. Here comes a full count pitch. 92, low in the zone, fouled off. The count remains full. 1 out, nobody on. Full count for Carlos Narvaez against Max Fried. Fried is creeping up there. He's got 91 pitches now. If I have a really big live stream with over 2,000 views, and let's say the Astros are playing the Yankees or the Dodgers, a big team like that, then there'll be a ton of people watching. 96 fouled off right in the middle of the zone. Count remains 3-2. In a situation like that, I might get some donations, some super chats, some super stickers, etc. And because there's so many people watching, advertising money will be higher. But even then, I typically won't make as much as even $10 off of advertising money. Outside, 94 miles an hour, outside the zone, the crowd boos. Do the Yankees fans just boo at everything that they don't like? That's clearly a ball. It's outside by a couple of inches. Got a runner on first with 1 out. Nate Eaton comes to the plate. Strike 1 right in there. The sinker finds the mark. 731 OPS, 296 batting average, and 1 home run. He had a double earlier. Runner on first. 0-1 count. Here comes the toss. Outside. 1-1. Yeah, it's actually possible for me to do a live stream with a ton of people and make like $7 on advertising money, but nobody sends me any donations, and that's literally all I will make is that $7. That's it. 84 miles an hour, up and out. That's another ball, 2-1. Bullpen is active for the Yankees. But if everybody is really, really feeling it, either really wanting to support me at that time, or they're really enjoying the game and feeling excited, they might start donating. And how much they donate, that's how much I could make. It just depends. 3 balls and 1 strike to Nate Eaton. Here comes a 3-1 pitch to Eaton. That could have been ball 4 on the outside. He fouls it off on the right side. Now it's a full count. Cousin Brian says, appreciate your regular season streams. Are you going to be doing more MLB playoff streams? Yes, I am. I haven't scheduled them yet, Brian, but I'm going to do that today. So you can be looking for that. I've got to take a look at my schedule and decide which ones I can do. But yes, over the next few days, I'll be doing some more. Nate Eaton steps out of the batter's box and the crowd boos. I swear, man. I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying this, but I think seriously, the Yankees fans boo about everything they don't like. Even if there's no reason to boo. Full count. It's hit up the middle. That's going to be an easy play at second. Unassisted double play. Yankees get out of it. So Nate Eaton hits it right up the middle, and it turns into an unassisted double play. Not a very good throw to first base, but he scoops it up. And that gets him out of the inning. The Red Sox with more lobsters. How about that? They are racking them up right now. They've got almost 10. Almost 10 guys on base that they have not even been able to move around. That's nuts. 1-0 Yankees going into the bottom of the 6th. Garrett Crochet, if he's still in the game, he's up to 81 pitches, 55 strikes. Jesse says, that's what I wonder. Not sure if there are any New York Yankee fans on the chat to explain why they boo. Just curious to know. Yeah, I kind of asked a similar question about that earlier, but I didn't get an answer. But my guess is that there won't be any real Yankees fans in the chat. They've got so many other options for Yankees broadcast. I mean, obviously I'm not calling for the Astros Yankees game, so I'm not going to be giving a biased presentation. My presentation of this game is completely neutral. If they were playing the Astros, that'd be a different issue, right? But I do wonder about that, Jesse. I have the same questions. Why do they boo? They boo. I mean, they have it could be the second inning, and they have a guy come up with 2 outs and nobody on, and he grounds out for the 3rd out, and they will boo that. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you booing your guys for grounding out? Are you really so spoiled and entitled that you can't accept your guy grounding out early in the game? Maybe in a game that is meaningless too, right? Maybe they're playing the Marlins and it's like the 15th game of the year and they won their first 14 games and the guy grounds out and they'll boo him. I don't get it. 98 below the zone. Crochet is still in the game. He loses his footing there and he scratches at the dirt like a chicken. Larry, you say some of the strangest things sometimes. I do like the idea of having a female co-host for a couple of reasons. But right now, I don't know a Japanese lady that could do it. I would need a lady who can, if I want to have somebody here with me, then I would need to know somebody that could not only do it, and most Japanese understand baseball pretty well, but I would also need somebody who could speak English pretty well. It doesn't have to be stellar or phenomenal, but it has to be reasonably good, English. But it would be fun. I would like to do that, honestly, but maybe when I get into Hiroshima City, I'll have the opportunity to do that now that I think about it. Out here, it's hard to do that. That's hit pretty hard to center field. It's going back, and it's going to be caught on the warning track. Gave it a ride. Caballero, 105.3 miles an hour. Just not enough. 1 down. Paul Goldschmidt comes to the plate next. But having women dancing in bikinis behind me, yeah, that'll be cheap to do. Maybe with $1,000 I'm making per stream, right? If I were making $1,000 a stream, I could probably afford to do that. Pay a few ladies to dance behind me. Jesse says the Sox cannot bring the lobsters home. Yeah, man, the Yankees are sinking their boats. So it looks like the Yankees have just decided to trade in all their fishing boats for battleships or pirate ships. They're just attacking the Red Sox fishing ships. The Goldschmidt hits it out to left field. Wow. That's going to be caught in left field. Man, I thought that was going to get down off the wall, maybe. Left fielder got over there pretty quick, and that brings up Mr. Judge. That's 2 hits deep to the warning track. 1 to center field, 1 to left field, and now Judge is at the plate. Here's the toss. 99 miles an hour, right down the middle. Strike 1. 2 outs, nobody on. 1.144 OPS and 331 batting average. That's insane. 86 below the zone. Ben says maybe that Spanish lady. She's nowhere around here. I don't know where she's at, but she could be in Houston. She could be in Mexico. I don't know where she's at, but she's nowhere around here. I'm in Hiroshima, Japan. But she wouldn't be my co-host anyway. Woo, that almost hit him. Couple of balls now to Judge. Counts 3-1 just like that. Crochet has struck out Judge 10 times this season. There's the toss. Woo, ripped down the third line. He destroyed that one, but it was foul. Full count. The only way I'd be able to have that Spanish lady on is if we did this by Zoom. If we connected on Zoom, that we could actually do it. But why would she do that? She works for another channel. Actually, the channel that she live streams for, they live stream a lot of different stuff. They have several different broadcasters, several different live streamers. Fouled off. 97 at the top of the zone. Judge stays alive. Full count with 2 outs and nobody on. Will judgment be served? Some kind of judgment. Either from Crochet or from Aaron. Here's the toss. Got him again. That's 11 strikeouts. Judge is complaining about something to the umpire. I'm not sure what he's griping about. Look at that. Yep. He's like, man, that dude struck me out like 11 times this year. Nothing doing for the Yankees in the 6th, despite a couple of guys hitting it deep, and Judge came up, and I was expecting him to make some contact, but he had one strong rip down the third baseline, and after that, got another K. Crochet owns Judge, apparently. We go into the top of the 7th, 1-0 Yankees. That Volpe home run, if that turns out to be the game winner, I am going to have myself a nice hearty chuckle. All of the Yankees fans booing and talking so bad, talking so much trash about Volpe. They've said some really horrible things about Volpe. And if they wind up winning 1-0, good for him. Good for you, Volpe. Good for you. Hammond says the Yankees fans would boo Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera. Are you serious? Who on earth would boo those guys? But they boo Judge too, you know? They boo Judge. I think he's allowed to strike out and get out here and there. Look at his average, his OPS, his homers. Look at what he's done for this team this year. If you're going to boo him when he strikes out, I mean, come on. No class at all. Larry wants to know what I'm doing in Vietnam. Larry, I can assure you that I'm doing absolutely nothing in Vietnam right now. I mean, literally nothing. I'm not even living in Vietnam. I'm not sitting in Vietnam. I'm not talking in Vietnam. I'm not existing in Vietnam. That is guaranteed. Unless I'm thoroughly confused, I am nowhere near Vietnam. First pitch to Jarren Duran is a swing and a miss on the sweeper. Max Fried back on the mound, facing a .256 batting average and .774 OPS. Here comes the toss. Swing and a miss again, another sweeper. Why not? There was a store in my hometown called Reruns Are Fun. Wait a second, it wasn't a store. It was like a program that they did through the school. That's what it was. A friend of mine used to go to it and help out. But it was when a lot of people would come together with their leftover stuff. That's it over to the right side. Fried going to have to cover. Did he get him? Yes, he did. Jarren Duran dove to try to get to first base. They're going to see if they want to challenge it. And that's going to be it for Max Fried. Boone comes out. After 1 out in the 7th, they're going to go ahead and pull him. They're not going to let him face Rafaela. I'm surprised that the Yankees aren't booing right now. The Yankees fans, he's coming out of the game after 6 1/3 innings pitched. They should be booing him right now. Boo! Not enough strikeouts. Boo! Gave up too many hits. Boo! I kid, but there is some truth to it. Jesse says, struck out the fudge. Yes, that's right. Aaron Fudge. What do the Yanks fans expect from their team? The Holy Grail? I know what it is, Jesse. They expect the second coming of Christ. That's what it is. If the Yankees can't deliver the second coming of Jesus, then the Yankees fans can never be appeased. Anything less than the second coming is not good enough. I think I figured it out. Orbit said Judge looks like Sid from Toy Story. He'd have to be a little fatter, but I can kind of see that. Charlie says, come on, Sox. Yeah, the Sox are playing the part of the Astros right now. Racking up the lobsters. Sending out the fishing boats. Catching a lot of lobsters in the traps. And then losing them on the way back to shore. The Yankees went out fishing. Trapped one lobster, managed to get it back. And after that, they have just decided to switch to battleships. They traded in their fishing boat for a battleship. Here's that play to first base earlier. Good cover by Max Fried. Don Rafaela is at the plate. He's going to be facing Luke Weaver, the new pitcher for the Yankees. Nobody on, one out. Swing and a miss. Change up low and away. What smells worse? A stanky or a dirty Red Sox? I had to ask that question. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm just poking fun. I'm just having fun. We're all having fun here. I'm just trying to make it fun. Top of the 7th with one out. 0-1 is the count. And here's a pitch. Swing and a miss below the zone. Rafaela, what are you thinking about there, buddy? He's 0 for 2. It looks like he wants to be 0 for 3 with this 0-2 count. Here's the toss. 97 fouled off. Right in there. Couldn't get around on it. First pitcher with 5+ innings pitched, scoreless start, and a Yankees postseason debut since 2001. Holy cow. It's been 24 years since a Yankees starting pitcher has done what Max Fried did today in the postseason. Can you believe that? Fouls that one off. Stays alive. Rafaela at the plate with 0-2 count. Can you guys believe that? No Yankees pitcher since 2001 has been able to pitch at least 5 innings of no run ball, of shutout ball in the postseason. That's crazy. That's the first ball. Speaking of ball, That's the first ball to Rafaela. It's 1-2. Next pitch from Weaver on the way. 97 above the zone. He hits that one foul on the right side. It might be playable. No, it goes right into the stands. Maybe about 8 rows back. We're going to have another 1-2 count. Yeah, you're right, Doug. Freed did a heck of a job. He did. He certainly did. Ben says we are having fun. Good. Yes, Jesse, that is a ridiculously long time. Probably don't have to go back but a handful of years to get that for the Astros. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, 2-2. The changeup misses. Here comes the next pitch. 97. Fouls it off. Rafaela having a pretty decent at-bat right now. Swinging at pitches in the zone. Laying off those outside the zone. Here's a 2-2 pitch again. That's ripped down the third baseline, just foul. Good catch by the ball boy. Good job, baby. 35 watching. It'd be kind of cool if we could get over 50 today, over 50 watching. For those of you listening in or following along, please remember to like the live stream. It helps get more people in here. Grow the channel a little bit. Make the live chat even more lively. That's in the dirt. In the doit. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 7th. Yankees up 1-0. Cedon Rafaela. Why is he wearing Freed's shirt on backwards? Here is the full count pitch to Rafaela. Outside, way outside. Ball 4. Uh-oh, it's the surrender cobra. Have you guys ever heard that before? Whenever the fans put their heads on their heads like that, it's called the surrender cobra. It's pretty funny. Runner on first with 1 out. Next pitch. The Sogard is low and outside for ball 1. Yankees bullpen moving again with another guy out there warming up. Sogard 1 for 2 with a single. 260 for the season as batting average. Only a 661 OPS. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Ooh, 89 miles an hour with a kind of a half-hearted swing there. 1-1 is the count. Rob Ref Snyder on deck. Rafaela on first base. 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. That's hit up the middle. That's going to get down. Rafaela is easily going to get to third. And he's going in for second. He's safe. Look at that. Sogard running aggressively stretches his single into a double. Runners on second and third with 1 out. It's no problem for Rafaela to get over to third. But Sogard was booking it as soon as he hit that ball. And he got in there. That was not a bad throw by Judge, but he just got to the ball and got it in there too late. Pitching coach comes out to the mound to have a little chit-chat with Mr. Luke Weaver. who doesn't seem to be weaving the ball very well right now. Masataka Yoshida is the pinch hitter on deck. I think they're just buying time. I don't think they're going to leave him in. They act like they're going to leave him in, but I think they're just buying time for their right-hander. Watch Boone's going to come out now and take the pitcher out. It's going to change. You watch. I saw the Rangers do this a couple of times. I wouldn't doubt it if the Yankees do it. They're going to let him pitch? Yeah, it looks like they're going to let him pitch. Wow. Yoshida hits it right up the middle on the very first pitch. They paid for it. That's going to score 2 runs. Yoshida from Japan. 2-1 Red Sox. 1 hit right up the middle. Finally, the Red Sox move the runners in, move the Lobsters back home at the most opportune time. It's 2-1, and that's it for Mr. Luke Weaver. You can imagine what the crowd is doing for him right now. Right up the middle, right through the gap. Made it look super, super easy. Masataka Yoshida. A little bit of Japanese power. Bring in the left-handed Japanese batter, and very first pitch right up the middle. That was a good move by the Red Sox to take out Ref Snyder. Bring in Yoshida. Boone decided to wait. He had the guy warming up out there. They sent the pitching coach out to the mound. I thought that they were buying time like the Rangers like to do. What the Rangers like to do is they like to send the pitching coach out to the mound for the maximum break time. And then the umpire says, okay, break it up, let's go. And then whenever the batter gets up to the plate, the pitcher steps off and the coach comes out and takes him out and brings in the new pitcher. They waste as much time as possible and slow down the game as much as possible. That's what Bocce does with the Texas Rangers. I can't stand that. It really slows the game down, bogs it down, makes it so annoying. It shouldn't be allowed, but he abuses it. I thought that maybe Boone was going to do that right there. To my surprise, he didn't, and he paid for it. Jesse says, never heard of the surrendered Cobra. Seen Mariners fan put a shoe on his head during the 2022 ALDS Game 1 when Yoron hit the walk-off homer. That's funny. Yeah, the Yankees fans are not booing hard enough. That's what it is. If they'll boo harder, their team will do better. Yeah, here's the pitch. So Fernando Cruz is now on the mound for the Yankees. That's the look of the fans right now. Bottom of the zone. Strike 1. 1-1 is the count. To Trevor Story. One for 3. Story is today. That's his story. 83 low and away, fouled off. 1-2 is the count. 1 out. Yoshida on first base. The Red Sox lead 2-1. Jesse says Bocce was Yankees manager, right? Maybe so. To be honest, I can't say I know for sure. I should know that. But I guess that's how much I pay attention to the details of the Yankees. And bocce. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Cruz. Way high. 2-2. Doug says they were both hitting the same location. Yeah. Susan says Yankees and Yankees fans can't blame the Astros this year for no World Series. That's right. They have nobody to blame but themselves. They can't get in. Swing and a miss. Story goes down. Strike 3. 94 on the inside. The announcer says that was belt high. That was not belt high. That was right below his chest. What is he talking about? Be quiet. Stop saying stuff just to say stuff. Alex Bregman at the plate. 94 above the zone. But Susan, they could still blame the Astros since they have the Red Sox have Bregman if the Red Sox knock them out of the wild card. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Breggy. Whoa, way up and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Yoshida on first base. 2 outs. Jesse says, bring it home, Breggy. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Right in there. Nice pitch. Slider. Couldn't have been more perfect. Should have launched on that one. 2-1. Doug says Bocce won a bunch of World Series with the Giants. Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. 82 miles an hour below the zone. A weak swing by Bregman. He calls timeout. The crowd are actually cheering a little bit here. Two and two with 2 outs. Here's the 2-2 toss from Cruz after a long delay. 94 fouled off. 4-seam fastball at the top of the zone. We'll have another 2-2 pitch. Let me refresh the feed here, and let's take a look at the likes on the channel. 41. That's nice. That's good. 34 people watching. That's hit hard. Way up there, almost into the upper deck on the left side, but foul. Bregman going for that traditional Alex Bregman line drive homer. I haven't seen Bregman fly out to the infield this game, though. So that's an improvement. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Whoa, way up and in. Full count. Full counts. This is a long inning. I'm going to have to get up and stretch my legs. Maybe put on some more hot water or something. Here's the 3-2. Inside. Runner steals. But it doesn't matter. That's a walk to Bregman. And now we have 2 runners on with 2 outs. A full count walk. The inning continues. Fernando Cruz extends the inning. And they're going to bring in Nathaniel Lowe. Take out Romy Gonzalez. So no more roaming around for Romy. Romy hasn't done anything this game anyway. Nathaniel Lowe batting .228 for the season. 18 homers, 84 RBIs. A stellar .688 OPS. I kid. Or do I? .228 batting average. But he's a lefty. That's what matters right now. He hits it really hard to right field all the way out. Judge is able to get it. Wow. Judge makes a very awkward catch. in right field and saves at least one more run. Right at the warning track. But Sogard, starting it off with the aggressive base running, he doesn't look very happy. Strike Lee. Strike Lee. That's the end of the top of the seventh. The Red Sox finally put some runs on the board, but they're only able to do it after Max Fried is out of the game. You should have seen the look on Max Fried's face sitting in the dugout. He was not happy. I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. I've been in similar situations before. Red Sox took the lead 2-1. We're going into the bottom of the seventh. Cody Bellinger is due up, followed by Giancarlo Stanton and Ahmed Rosario. I'll be right back. I'm going to go in here right quick, grab myself a little liquid refreshment. Hope you're enjoying it here at the Go Dome. Thank you for listening in. I looked in the fridge and I remembered that I still had my no sugar vitamin C lemon drink. You guys have these at 7-Eleven? Obviously, this is a 7-Eleven Japan drink. But I'm kind of wondering if they have them at 7-Elevens in the U.S. too, or is it just here? Yeah. And they were showing clips of the game, and the last clip they showed was that sad face of Freed. Cody Bellinger is going to lead it off. Garrett Crochet is still in the game. He's up to 94 pitches. He is up to 94 pitches with 62 strikes. Doug says a lot of old baseball cards had the Yankee Stadium left field stands in the background of the pitcher. All baseball cards or a particular brand like Topps, Donruss, Lear? Here's the toss. Swing and a miss. Low and inside. Strike one. Bellinger 0 for 2 with a strikeout today. 272 during the regular season with 29 homers and an OPS over 800. Does everybody know that 7-Eleven was bought out a long time ago by a Japanese company? It's been Japanese owned for a long time now. 84 miles an hour outside. Ball one. 1-1. Let's hit high in the air. Should be an easy out. Story is underneath it, and he puts it away right behind second base, and that's out number one. I remember in one of my live streams much earlier this year, somebody was trying to correct me about the company Daikin. Here's Stanton. Very first pitch, grounded to Bregman at third. Throws nice and easy over to first base, no problem. That's 2 up and 2 down. The Yankees have gone down 15 in a row to Crochet. Amazing. Can you believe that? Since the home run by Anthony Volpe, every single batter has been retired. Strike one to Rosario. 2 outs, nobody on. 0-1 is the count. But yeah, Daikin is a Japanese company. Another ground ball to Bregman. He fires over to first base. 3 up and 3 down. 100 exact pitches. Nobody going in the bullpen for the Red Sox. How about that? Landon, you had the 1-run homer from Anthony Volpe in the second inning. But after that, every single Yankees batter has been retired in order by Crochet. And I'm not exaggerating. The third inning, the fourth inning, the fifth inning, the sixth inning, and now the seventh inning, every single batter has been retired by Crochet. 15 straight batters. They gave up 2 runs this inning to the Red Sox. Lost the lead. It's 2-1. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for you, but that's where it stands. Yeah, but a couple of months ago, I had a guy that actually used to do some. I let him be a mod for a while, but the reason that I removed him from that role is because I just felt like he was bickering with me, choosing to bicker, and he was constantly trying to nitpick and correct me, and talking to me like he was my manager or my boss or something. Even sending me emails when I was late to get my live stream started. He would send me an email saying that it was time to start the live stream, as if I didn't already know. I don't need messages like that. If the live stream hasn't started at the time that it's supposed to, that's because there's a reason for it. It's not because I don't know. Either I overslept, or I have an issue, a technical problem, or it could be my health. Heck, for all you guys know, I could be in the hospital and had no time or ability to leave a message and say, hey guys, I'm in the hospital right now. I can promise you that I will always do my best to communicate with my audience to let them know if I can't do the live stream on time or if I have to cancel it. But so far, I've been lucky that I haven't had to do that. But when people start acting like they're my manager and trying to correct me when I say factual things, just got to let people like that go. Carlos Narvaez at the plate facing Devin Williams. Ball 1. Here's the toss. 95 above the zone. Ball 2. Cold drink making me cough. I'm going to have to get some hot water. Next pitch on the way. High and outside. 3 straight balls starting off with Devin Williams on the mound for the Yankees. He's kicking the dirt around a little bit. I'm not so sure it's the dirt, my friend. Here's the next pitch to Narvaez. Let's see if he takes it. A little high. Ball 4. Wow. That's another walk. And the umpire is pointing over to the dugout. I think he's pointing at the Yankees dugout. He's pointing at some people. Some people are complaining. Narvaez on first base with a leadoff walk. Todd says that Bregman is the definition of a baseball player. Stories from college made me appreciate him so much. He would show up late at night to hit. Yeah, he's definitely a baseball guy, that's for sure. I think he's got a wonderful glove at third base. Strike 1. Wilyer Abreu is pinch hitting, batting .247 for the season with 22 homers and 69 RBIs. Here comes the next toss from Williams. 95 miles an hour, four-seam fastball. That's right in there. Swing and a miss. 0-2 is the count. The crowd barely claps. Pretty interesting. The Yankees fans actually put a lot more energy into booing than they do cheering. That's interesting. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Way high and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 out. No, I'm sorry. 1 on, rather. No outs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wilyer Abreu at the plate. Pinch hitting for the first time in the game. Here's the toss. Low in the zone, hit high up in the air on the left side. Should be easily playable, and it is. Out number 1. Jarren Duran due up next. Landon says, so what do the Yankees do now? I don't know. They got to hit the ball, though. 15 batters in a row retired. Not a single batter on base in 15 at-bats. Jarren Duran is 0 for 3. Here's the first pitch. It's outside. 95-mile-per-hour fastball misses the mark. 1-0 is the count. Susan says, go Reds against the Dodgers. I second that. I'd be really happy to see the Reds beat the Dodgers. Here's the toss. 95 on the outside. That's a fly ball to the left side. Whoa, he overran it, and then he came back. Caballero ran over to grab it. Lucha Libre. You can see he took it. He took off over there, and then he had to come back right at the last minute, make a U-turn. Tough catch. Out number 2. That's a big out. Next batter is Ceddanne Rafaela. 0 for 2 today. Williams goes over to first base, but he gets back no problem. Narvaez at first base. I don't think he's a real threat to be stealing. He's only stolen 1 base the whole season. Here's the pitch. That's hit hard to left field, but it's going to die. That looked a lot harder than it was. Maybe he got it off the thick end of the bat. Out number 3. So Devin started off a little shaky with that walk, but then he came back and got the 3 outs. Shuts it down. So nothing doing for the Red Sox in the top of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th coming up. The Yankees haven't scored. Now, I'm sorry, they haven't even gotten a runner on in 5 innings. After Volpe's home run. Actually, it's been more than 15 batters. Maybe 16 or 17. But after Volpe's home run, not a single Yankee has been on base. Trent Grisham is coming up next. Unless there are some batting changes, but Grisham is due up, followed by Anthony Volpe and Austin Wells. If there are any pinch hitters, I will update that for you. Right now, we're on commercial break, as you can see here. Landon says, I don't get it. How's Crochet still pitching? Well, probably because he was under his pitch count and he was doing really well. That's how. I mean, when you retire nearly 20 batters in a row and you're under your pitch count, I think you don't come out of the game. He's up to 100 pitches right now. I mean, if he can pitch 115 pitches or 110, we might see him again right now, but I would guess no. But then again, you never know. Why do we always have to see Shohei Ohtani? Yep, Crochet's back on the mound. Heck yeah. He's going to go into 100 pitches. Max Friedman, look at that look on his face. He couldn't be more annoyed looking. Here's the first pitch to Grisham. Swing and a miss, 97 on the inside. Strike 1. Hunter Brown's gone over 100 pitches before. He's done it a couple of times, a few times. This year, he stayed in and kept going. One ball, one strike. 2 different pitchers going for the Red Sox in the bullpen. That's a check swing. They say he did not go. 2 balls and 1 strike on the sweeper. 2 strikeouts today for Grisham. 811 OPS, 235 batting average, and 34 home runs this year. Here's the next toss. Woo! 97 right in there in the bottom of the zone. Good pitch. 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, 99 miles an hour. Right in the zone. Strikeout. Grisham goes down again. That's yet another Yankee retired by Crochet. Look at that. Couldn't even get the bat around on time for that one. Anthony Volpe back at the plate. Volpe has the only RBI, the only run scored for the Yankees, and after that hit, nothing has happened for the Yankees. The count is 0-1. Here comes the pitch. Below the zone. Check swing. Too far. Strike 2. Yeah, Landon, didn't you say earlier that Judge owns Crochet? Because Crochet has struck out Judge 11 times this year. So, kind of wondering about that. Here's the pitch. 98 above the zone. How can you hit a 100-mile-per-hour fastball by swinging the bat early? Here's a grounder up the middle, and that's going to be a hit. Volpe has his second hit of the game. So 1 homer and 1 hit for Volpe off of Crochet. That is the Yankees' first base runner since Volpe's home run. It's hilarious that it's Volpe, the guy that all of the Yankees fans destroy. He has the only RBI in this game. Crochet retires almost 20 Yankees in a row, and then Volpe's the one to break it. 98 miles an hour is the pitch to Austin Wells, right in the top of the zone, strike 1. There's 1 out, Volpe on first base. Austin Wells at the plate, 0 for 2 today. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Crochet. 98 inside, fouls it off. 0-2. Well, one good game. Are you talking about he hit 3 home runs on him, 2 in Fenway? Yeah, but what about the overall? That's my question. What's the overall performance against each other? Because if he hit 3 home runs off of him, but Crochet struck him out 11 times, I mean, who would you say won that battle? The pitcher, obviously. Oh, and 2 is the count. Here's the pitch to Wells. High and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes on a 98 mile per hour fastball. By the way, you got no reason to be depressed. It's only a 2-1 game. Yankees still have the rest of this inning and the next inning to bat. There comes the pitch. Volpe dances back to first base, no problem. Yeah, you know Max Fried has got to be unhappy. Volpe's stealing second base, and that's a foul off on the sweeper. Pretty good jump. I'm just going to have to go back to first base. We're going to have another 1-2 count. One-two pitch. 99 on the outside edge. Wow, that could have been a strike right there. That was right on the edge of the zone. Called a ball, and now it's 2-2. Yeah, they're showing it on the screen. That was right through the edge of the zone. 2-2. Here comes the pitch from Crochet. Whoa, way up and in. I think Crochet was paying a little bit too much attention to Volpe at first base. You can see Volpe was dancing around, and right after that, he threw it up and in. Almost gave Wells a facial. Crowd is booing, of course. And now they're going to have a little meeting on the mound. The infield comes together. Wells looking like an adult star. Hey, we almost got to 50. 49. It looks like we're going up a little bit here. Crochet is up to 116 pitches right now. 77 strikes. Austin Wells with the 3-2 count. 1 out. Volpe on first. Here's the toss. 100 in the bottom of the zone. Strike 3. Wells thought he might have a walk there, but that was clearly in the bottom inside corner of the zone. And that's going to be it for Crochet. Finally. Looks like they're going to bring in Chapman. Crochet is finally done After 7 2/3 of an inning, he walks off the field with 117 pitches, 78 strikes. How many strikeouts does he have in this game? 11 strikeouts. Let's take a look at Crochet's while the new pitcher warms up. Let's take a look at the numbers for Crochet and Fried just for comparison. 7.2 innings pitched for Crochet, gave up 4 hits, 1 run, and that was the homer to Volpe. 2 of those hits were to Volpe, a single and a homer. No walks, not a single walk issued. 11 strikeouts. ERA 1.17. Pretty nuts. Let's take a look at Max Fried. Max Fried stayed in for 6.1 innings. Gave up 4 hits. No runs. 3 walks. 6 strikeouts. So obviously, the performance today by Crochet was superior. He had nearly double the strikeouts of Fried. He had no walks. Fried had 3. And he pitched almost 8 innings. Fried only pitched 6.1. Fried didn't have a bad game. He had a good game. But he got outlasted. That was a strikeout call on Wells right there. Beautiful pitch right at the knees. Yeah, he was shaking his head, but that's on you, bro. If it's in there, you got to swing. If it's close, you got to swing. Oh, I love you. Will you marry me? A little manly love in the dugout. Aroldis Chapman. I'm sure the Yankees are happy to see this guy. Every time I see him, I can't not see the smile on his face whenever he faced Altuve. Astros fans know what I'm talking about. Yankees fans, maybe you want to forget. They're trying to get the pitch comm working right now. But Chapman is going to inherit 1 runner on first base and 2 outs. Jose Caballero is at the plate to face Chapman here in the bottom of the 8th. Jesse says it looks Volpe is carrying New York Yankees in this series so far. Not sure what fans think about him now. Still not good enough. No, they won't talk about him. They'll just complain about all of the other guys not doing their jobs. They won't give him any credit. Now, if the Yankees had won 1-0 and he'd been the only one to do anything, then yes, they would have given him praise. But it would have been like backhanded compliments, you know. Finally, he did something. Finally, he contributed. Landon, I'm not sure what that means. Crochet is 100% against Judge, and Judge is 75% on him. What does that mean? Adolis? Adolis Garcia? Do you mean Aroldis? Aroldis Chapman? I think you're getting Aroldis' name mixed up with Adolis from the Rangers. First pitch is low and inside for ball 1. Caballero at the plate. Chapman on the mound. 1 ball, no strikes. Volpe dancing around at first. Chapman lobs it over to first base and the crowd boos. What do you expect him to do? Part of baseball. Here's the toss. 95 on the lower outside edge. Strike one. The count's even. That's right. Aroldis Chapman did give Altuve a nice, good pitch. A memorable pitch. Another throw over to first base, and Volpe gets back. Well, Landon, if you're a Yankees fan, I can understand that you wouldn't be happy with the current situation, but the game's not over. Don't give up. Don't be one of those guys. 96 just barely misses up and outside. 2-1 is the count with 2 outs, runner on first. Quick throw over to first base. Volpe's going to get second base because that's already 2 disengagements. Volpe is now into scoring position with that disengagement. That's a 3rd disengagement by Chapman. Chapman is not hard to hit against for the Astros, especially Altuve. But yeah, he's a tough pitcher. He's got a strong arm. 2 balls and 1 strike to Caballero. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss, 98 miles an hour on the outside edge. 2-2 with 2 outs. It's Aroldis. I think he just mixed it up with the other guy, Adolis Garcia with the Texas Rangers. It's kind of similar. Adolis and Aroldis. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Caballero. 98 on the outside edge, fouled away. The count remains 2-2. The hardest thrower in sports or in baseball? I would say that he's definitely not the hardest thrower in sports. I think there are some quarterbacks that can throw harder. 98 miles an hour up the middle, and they almost collide out in center field. No communication whatsoever in center field, and somehow there is no collision. Take a look at this. They both go for it. Holy cow, that was a disaster. Barely missed. Yeah, look at Crochet, who's like, holy crap. That could have been really, really bad. But it ends the inning. That's it for the 8th inning, guys and gals. Top of the 9th coming up. The Red Sox will be back at the plate for their last opportunity. Unless there are extra innings. It's 2-1, Red Sox over the Yankees. 6 hits for the Red Sox, 4 for the Yankees. No errors in this game so far. 1 more inning of baseball to go. Unless the Yankees come back. They're gone right now as it stands. They're going to need at least 1 run. If they're able to hold the Red Sox in the top of the 9th, then they'll just need 1 to tie it and 2 to win. But so far, the Yankees have put up nothing but goose eggs on the board. For the past 6 innings, not a single run. In the 2nd inning, Volpe's opposite field homer, it's the only run they've been able to put on the board the entire game. It's kind of crazy because I was expecting, I predicted that. I predicted that the Yankees would score a bunch of runs. I was thinking that they'd be able to hit some homers because According to the information, the last 11 games or so, Crochet has given up a decent amount of home runs. But man, today he was lights out. The Yankees went through almost 20 straight batters, completely unable to get even a runner on base with a walk. No walk, no single, nothing. Nick Sogard is the first batter for the Red Sox at the plate, high and outside for ball one. David Bednar on the mound for the Yankees. 76-mile-per-hour curveball right in there for strike one. The count's even. Yeah, that's right, Jesse. That was too close. It really was almost a train wreck. It really was. Swing and a miss on the inside curveball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. No outs, nobody on. Top of the 9th. Here's the pitch from Bednar. Low and inside, 2-2. Yeah, Jesse, I was thinking the same thing. I seriously thought that it was going to be like batting practice. I was expecting to see like 4 home runs from the Yankees, maybe 5. I said they'd score 7 runs today. 98 at the bottom of the zone, and that's a strike 3. Bednar picks up his first strikeout of the game. Masataka Yoshida, who came in as a pinch hitter, hit it right up the middle. Gave the Red Sox 2 runs in the lead earlier. Takes that pitch for strike 1, the curveball. One out, nobody on. Here comes the pitch from Bednar. In the dirt, 1-1. Here's the pitch. 93-mile-an-hour pitch, grounded to the second baseman, and Yoshida is thrown out at first base for out number 2. Trevor Story due up. Masataka Yoshida started with the Oryx Buffaloes. Oryx is a popular team in Japan, a professional baseball team. First pitch to Trevor Story on the way. That's hit hard into left field for a line drive single. Second hit of the day for Story. Red Sox have a runner on first with 2 outs. That was a weak hit, though. I thought it was a lot harder than it was. Only 78.8 miles an hour. Alex Bregman comes to the plate. 1 for 3 today with a single. His very first at bat, he had a single to right field, but hasn't done anything after that. Toss over to first base. Story gets back. Let's see what Breggy does at this at bat. Here's the pitch from Bednar. 96 miles an hour above the zone. That'll be a ball. 1-0 is the count. Hey, we got over 55 people listening in. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining. That's a toss over to first base. Story gets back. One ball, no strikes to Alex Bregman. 2 outs. Runner on first. Here in the top of the ninth. That's going to be a fake steal for Story, but it doesn't matter. It's a foul ball by Bregman. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Or I thought that was 2 strikes. My bad. It's 1-1. As my Chinese students would say back in the day, that are my bad. He's stealing this time, and here's the throw. Is he going to be in there? He calls him safe. Story is in there. It was not a bad throw. They're going to take a look and see if they want to challenge it. He definitely gets there. Does he come off the bag, though? That's the question. Yeah, he stayed on the base. He didn't come off. So Trevor Story gets a steal. Looks like the Yankees want to review it. One of the things that the announcers are talking about is the length of these gloves. These mitts that the players use to protect their hands. They're talking about the length of those mitts, giving them an advantage to get to the base sooner. Rolling on the field stands. He's safe. They lose their challenge. The count is 2-1 to Alex Bregman with a runner in scoring position. Story on second base. Here's the pitch. Curve on the outside edge. Woof. Strike 2. 2-2. Well placed on the outside edge. The crowd comes to their feet now, hoping for a strikeout. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. This is a bouncer to the left side, and it's going to be foul. Going to have another 2-2 pitch. They said that Trevor Story was actually not feeling well before the game, but he's playing anyway. I don't know. I guess he might have some kind of illness coming on. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Bregman lines it out to left field, and it's going to be off the wall. It'll score another run. 3-1. And Bregman rolls into second with a double. That was not a line drive homer, but that was a line drive Bregman style, that's for sure. Off the wall in left field. And that's something that the Yankees have to be used to, is Alex Bregman doing damage to them. It's good fundamental hitting right there. Breggy continues to do it to the Yankees, even with the Sox. Little meeting on the mound right now. They're bringing in a new pitcher, a lefty. Bednar is out. Nathaniel Lowe is due up. Runner on second. The inning's not over yet. They still have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Yeah, it's got a sting. I mean, it's bad enough. This is the Red Sox, and I know that the Yankees can't stand the Red Sox, but having Bregman get an RBI in the 9th inning to add on to the lead is like pouring salt on the wound, right? Lemon juice and salt mixture. Yep. The ghost of the Astros living on through the Boston Red Sox. It's like the worst possible combination for the Yankees fans. It's understandable. Landon says, I'm about to crash out. Well, there's another guy that doesn't look too happy. Strike Lee. But you know what? It's baseball. As long as there is another out, the game's not over. The side armor, Tim Hill, is in the game now for the Yankees. First pitch, strike 1. Three to 1. Red Sox up with a guy on second base and 2 outs. Nathaniel Lowe fouls that one off. Up in the zone. 0-2 is the count. 689 OPS, 228 batting average, and 18 home runs this year. He's 0 for 1 today. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. He bounces that one foul. 89 miles an hour, sinker, low and inside. The count remains 0-2. Yeah, that's right, Jesse. With Bregman, it amplifies the hatred of the Red Sox, I'm sure. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. That's hit into center field. Should be playable. And it is, and that's out number 3. But one more run. And that puts the Red Sox up by 2. It's 3 to 1. At the end of the top of the 9th. But guess who's due up for the Yankees? The top of their batting order, Paul Goldschmidt, Aaron Judge, and Cody Bellinger. It looks like they're going to keep the ball in the hands of Aroldis Chapman. He only had 6 pitches to close out the last inning. Makes sense why they'd have him come in the 9th. I appreciate everyone being here. There's a little bit of a commercial break right now. Whenever we come back, it's the Yankees' last opportunity to at least tie up this game. Top of the batting order, these are the guys that you want up at the plate. It couldn't start any better for them than the way it's set up right now. Well, don't give up on your team, Landon. Don't give up on your team. If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't be happy about the score right now if my team were down 3 to 1. But I know that they can come back. You never know. But the good thing is that just because, even if they don't win this game, the series isn't over. It might seem difficult to overcome, but it's happened many times before. Paul Goldschmidt is 1 for 3 today. I've been so preoccupied with this game, I haven't heated up more hot water for myself. All right. Here we go, guys and gals. This is it. Aroldis Chapman on the mound for the Red Sox. Paul Goldschmidt strolls up to the plate. First pitch on the way. Whoa, 98 low and inside. Not too far from his legs. Ball one. One runner on. All it would take is one swing of the bat from Judge to tie it up. Here's the 1-0 pitch. 85 mile per hour slider fouled off, and it hits the catcher on his leg. He's going to have to walk it off. That was a nice fatty smacking sound on his thigh. 1 ball, 1 strike to Goldschmidt. Yeah, Judge is not one of those guys that shuts down in the postseason like Kyle Tucker. Poor Kyle Tucker. Great during the season. Shuts down in the postseason. Here's the pitch. That's hit out into right field, and he's going to get down. He's going to get it down. Aaron Judge comes to the plate with the tying run represented by himself. And now the Boston fans are really nervous. Can Aaron Judge channel his inner Altuve? That's probably what he did before he came to bat. He was checking out some batting footage of Altuve. How do you hit this guy? He hits it right up the middle. Very first pitch, Judge goes up the middle, and the Yankees have 2 runners on. Bottom of the 9th, nobody out. Runners on first and second. Cody Bellinger comes to the plate, representing the winning run. Big opportunity for the Yankees right here. Runners on first and second in the bottom of the 9th. Here's a pitch from Chapman. Bellinger swings on the very first pitch. Is hit to the gap. Is it going to drop? Yes, it does. It gets down. Goldschmidt had to hold up. They didn't know if it was going to drop or not, but bases are now loaded for Giancarlo Stanton. The crowd is really lively right now. Chapman has given up 3 straight hits. The Yankees have bases loaded with nary an out. Bailey comes out to the mound, the pitching coach. He's going to have a little chit-chat with Aroldis Chapman. Yeah, he just muscled that off, and it dropped in. Paul Goldschmidt had to hold up because he didn't know if it was going to be caught or not. There's a girl right there crying. Yankee fan, this lady in the middle there was crying. They don't have anybody throwing in the bullpen right now. That's hilarious. They're going to let Chapman deal with it. This is your bed that you've made. You must lie in it. 18 career postseason home runs, most first and 41 game. What? I couldn't read that. Stan does have a lot of postseason home runs. Here's a pitch. The 100 check swing fouls it off. Strike 1. No outs. I think this is the scariest guy in the lineup, according to a couple of Yankees fans I know. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Chapman. Swing and a miss, 100 miles an hour on the sinker. 0-2. Stanton has such a serious look on his face. Kind of reminds me of how Caratini looks sometimes. Victor Caratini when he's at the plate. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. 101 miles an hour, fouled back. The count remains 0-2. What happened to Chapman? He just started doing Chapman things, you know. Sometimes Chapman is just completely locked down, and every once in a while, he just starts to lose it a little bit. Timeout called. Oh, 0-2. Bases loaded. No outs. Here comes the toss from Aroldis Chapman to Giancarlo Stanton. Swing and a miss. Stanton strikes out. 92 miles an hour. And that's the first out. Wow. Raising the tension there. Threw him a splitter. Almost right in the middle of the plate. That was about 10 miles per hour slower than what he threw right before that. Here's a pitch to Chisholm. Jazz Chisholm fouls it off. Low and away on that fastball. Chisholm is pinch hitting for Rosario. Chapman is being haunted by the Altuve homer, says Jesse. I wonder, yeah, he's probably not even thinking about that right now. Woo, 101 miles an hour on that outside edge, strike two. And Chisholm is complaining to the umpire, but you should be quiet when the ball is actually in the zone. There it is right there, clearly in the zone. Almost 100% in the zone. 0-2. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off. 101 mile per hour fastball on the outside edge. Chisholm hangs in there, but the count stays 0-2. Yeah, that's right. A double play right now would be a sad way to end the game for the Yankees, but it could happen. Bases loaded with one out. 0-2 count to Jazz Chisholm. After a short timeout, he steps back into the box, kicks the dirt around a little bit. Man, this is so nerve-wracking, isn't it? 2-run lead could be erased right here. We'll see. This is hit into center field, no, right field, and that's going to be caught. Here's the throw. He's not tagging. He's keeping him at third. Out number 2. It would get down to the wire, wouldn't it? Trent Grisham. It's going to be all down to Grisham. 235 batting average, 34 homers this year, 811 OPS. It's Trent Grisham versus Aroldis Chapman with 2 outs and bases loaded in the 9th inning. Just above the zone, 101 miles an hour, ball 1. What a tight game. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Fouls it off, 100 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone. The count's even, 1-1. Landon is scared. Jeffrey says 3-game series. Yes, 2 wins is all it takes. That's why anybody can win the wild card. Just need 2 wins. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Woo! 101 up and in. Just barely missed the corner. Ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Could have been called a strike. It got the edge of the corner. It got the edge of the corner. It got the corner of the zone, rather. 2-1 pitch on the way. Right in there. Slider. 87 miles an hour. Chapman slows it way down. Grisham wasn't ready for it. The count's 2-2. You talking about an extra innings, Jesse? I think so. I don't think the rule changes for the World Series. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3. 101 miles an hour up and in. He went after it and couldn't get it. The Red Sox shut it down. Aroldis Chapman gets bases loaded with no outs, and the Yankees cannot convert even one run. They lose the game 3-1. The Boston Red Sox take game 1 in New York. Wow. The first 3 batters for the Yankees do their job. Goldschmidt, Judge, and Bellinger, all 3 get singles to load the bases. But then Chapman is able to hold it together, get a strikeout, a fly out, and another strikeout. And celebrates on the mound. Holy freaking cow, what an ending. I was not expecting that ending at all. I was expecting to see at least a couple of runs and some extra innings. Man, you talk about a nail biter. Bregman's extra 1 run wasn't even necessary. Wow. Whoops, sorry about that. I had to cough. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to. I had my microphone muted because I had to cough. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. The Dodgers are winning 1-0. Apparently, Shohei Ohtani hit a homer in the first inning. It's already Off to a good start for the Dodgers, courtesy of the Nihonjin. Nihonjin means Japanese person. Yep, there it is right there. Oh, no, not that. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm guessing that it was a home run. Yep, that's right, Landon. Y'all still have tomorrow in the Bronx. It ain't over yet. It ain't over. Well, I would like to call this game here, but I'm just not so sure that I should sit for so long today. That's a lot of sitting. Why were they taking a break? That's what I don't understand. Why did they take a commercial break during the middle of the first inning? It's kind of strange. It's a little strange. Freddie Freeman flies out to left field. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop that right there. Yeah, this stream isn't for the Dodgers anyway. But yeah, I'm going to have to take a break. I'd like to do the game, but I personally I want to see the Reds win this game, but I didn't plan to do the Dodgers game. I've already done 2 games today. I would very much like to do another game. But let me check right quick. I know another guy that might be doing the game. Let me run over and check his channel to see if he is streaming at the moment. If he is streaming. Yes. Yes, that's right. He is streaming the game. So there's no reason for me to do it. Let me see if I can send you guys over there. Let's see. There we go. Go check out Dr. Delay if you want to see the Reds and Dodgers game live stream. He's doing that game right now. So for those of you who want to check out the Cincinnati Reds versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, go over to Dr. Delay's channel and tell him that I sent you over there. He sent some guys my way the other day, and anybody interested in listening in can listen to his live play-by-play. Yeah, I won't do the game. I didn't plan on doing it. I knew that he was probably going to do that game and wasn't doing the other 2 games that I did. So I wanted to focus on those AL games. But that's it for today. I do appreciate all of the likes and the support on the live stream. We got to 50 today. Thank you so much. That's pretty good considering it's not an Astros game. Usually the Astros games were much higher than that. But it was much better than yesterday. It's an unfortunate result for the Yankees. Very difficult ending. But I'm sure that the Red Sox fans are pretty much ecstatic right now. For those of you who are looking forward to the next game in the series, I'll be doing Game 2 of the Yankees and Red Sox, plus Game 2 of the Tigers and Guardians. I'll be posting those shortly. So if you want updates on that, make sure that you subscribe and click notifications on, and then you will see those pop up in your notifications on YouTube, and you can join us for those games later on. But for now, that's pretty much it. All I have to say is arigato gozaimasu from Hiroshima, Japan. And I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are on this great big earth. And I will see you for the next game. Until then, bye-bye.